The Indiana Fever just blew out the Atlanta Dream 99-82. On paper, a simple win. Caitlin Clark nearly had a double-double with 12 points and 9 assists. But what the box score didn't show was the mutiny brewing behind the scenes. Because this wasn't some clean textbook win, it was a player-led rebellion that flipped the game and the franchise on its head. In this breakdown, we're exposing the turning point you didn't see, the frustrated veteran who sparked it all, the system that collapsed, and the moment the players ditched the coaching plan and handed the game to Caitlin Clark. Let's connect the dots, let's find the truth. This wasn't just the game, it was a shift in power. And we've got the receipts. The tension was building long before tip-off. The Fever had been wobbling, flashes of brilliance followed by complete breakdowns, and frustration was boiling over. Head coach Stephanie White, she didn't hold back. She flat out said she was disappointed because the team lacked competitive fire. That's not just a critique, that's a call out. But while the coach was pointing fingers, Sophie Cunningham was pointing to the real problem. One of the team's most vocal leaders stepped in front of cameras and dropped a bomb. She said, "We're running out of time. It's going to light a fire under our butts, so hopefully you're going to see that energy shift tomorrow." To the average fan, it sounded like typical post-game talk, but for narrative analysts, that was a warning shot. A sign that Cunningham wasn't buying the current system, and she wasn't alone. Then came the first half, a complete meltdown. Whatever official game plan the Fever had was getting torched. Jordan Canada turned into a flamethrower, dropping 26 points in just 2 quarters. 6 threes. The Fever defense, nowhere. The competitive fire their coach begged for, still missing. At halftime, the Fever trailed 40-45, but the scoreboard wasn't the most brutal stat. The real damage was ideological. The coach's system had failed in public view, and Cunningham's warning looked prophetic. The team had a choice to make: stick with the old plan or burn it down. That locker room, that's where everything changed. We may not have a transcript of what was said, but we do have the evidence, because the second half didn't look like the first at all. The Fever came out with a new philosophy, one that screamed, "Give the ball to Caitlin Clark and get out of the way." She became the engine, the system, and what followed? A jaw-dropping 59-point second half. Clark didn't just rack up assists, she bent the Atlanta defense to her will, and suddenly, everything clicked. Sophie Cunningham caught fire, hitting 4 threes and ending with 16 points and 10 rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell unleashed for 25 points. The offense was flowing like never before. This wasn't coincidence. This was intentional. The players made the shift, not the coaches. They finally did what they've been saying for weeks. We need to adjust to Caitlin. And in this game, they actually did it. So here's the real question. Did the players make a conscious decision to take control from the coaching staff? Let us know in the comments. This isn't just about strategy, it's about power. But the takeover didn't stop at offense. That new confidence infected the defense too. And guess who stepped up again? Caitlin Clark, yes, on defense. She matched up with Jordan Canada, the same player who dropped 26 in the first half. And what happened? Just 4 points from Canada the rest of the game. From 26 to 4. That's not just defense, that's personal. Clark locked her down. She didn't wait for a scheme, she took responsibility. She became the spark the coach said didn't exist. And once the leader does that, the rest follow. Rotations got tighter, energy spiked, the Fever looked like a different team, connected, unified. The stat that tells the real story? A staggering 77% assist rate in the second half. That's 27 assists on 35 made baskets. That's not luck, that's chemistry. That's player-driven basketball at its finest. And once the Fever started clicking, they buried the dream. Cunningham was everywhere. Clark was threading passes. Mitchell couldn't miss. Boston reconnected with Clark for big plays. The whole team looked unleashed. They weren't just winning, they were liberated. They weren't waiting for the coach to draw it up. They had drawn their own blueprint, and it worked. The results were loud, and now the front office has a decision to make. Because here's where it gets awkward for Coach Stephanie White. The players just ran the offense their way and dominated. Fans on social media have already been questioning her system. Critics say it doesn't fit Clark's generational skill set. And now, there's 24 minutes of game footage that might prove the critics right. How do you go back to the old system after this? How does a coach reassert control when the players just showed that their way works better? This win was a victory for the Fever, but it might be a countdown clock for the coaching staff.
This wasn't just another W, this was a revolution. Fueled by a teammate's public challenge, the Indiana Fever players took matters into their own hands. They made a halftime shift that went beyond basketball. It was a change in leadership, a redefinition of who holds the power. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark. They didn't just win with her, they won because of her. They put the system in her hands, and the result was undeniable. So what do you think? Was this a one-time rebellion or a permanent power shift? Drop your theory in the comments.